We are glad to have you back on the God's Motivation channel. In a world where fact and fiction are constantly blurring, where conspiracy theories thrive and reality itself seems stranger than any novel, an old, forgotten series of books has resurfaced with a shockwave of intrigue. Imagine a 19th century novel, written long before the advent of modern technology and global political shifts, seemingly predicting the rise of one of the most polarizing figures in contemporary history, Donald Trump. Not only does this peculiar collection of books eerily parallel his ascent, but it also hints at something even more unsettling, that he could be the last president of the United States. Titled The Barron Trump Collection, these obscure novels, penned in the 1890s, have now taken on a life of their own, igniting a firestorm of debate. Are these pages, over a century old, simply products of coincidence? Or did their author, through some strange foresight or premonition, peer into a future that would only come to pass over 100 years later? From a boy named Barron Trump embarking on mystical adventures to the chillingly prophetic book The Last President, the questions raised by these novels are hard to dismiss. They weave a web of mysterious links to modern politics, giving rise to countless theories and raising an unsettling possibility. Could the threads of fiction and reality be more intertwined than we ever imagined? This video aims to explore the fascinating connections between literature and politics, particularly focusing on the Barron Trump collection and its unexpected parallels to contemporary events. It is essential to note that this content is not intended to endorse or criticize any political party or figure. Our goal is to foster curiosity and discussion about the intersections of history, fiction, and current events, encouraging viewers to form their own opinions based on the information presented. Thank you for watching. As we dive deeper into this bizarre story, we'll explore how a forgotten tale from the past casts shadows over America's present and potentially its future. In the dusty annals of forgotten literature, some stories are destined to resurface, their relevance strangely amplified by the passage of time. One such story is that of the Barron Trump Collection, a pair of 19th century novels written by lawyer and novelist Ingersoll Lockwood that faded into obscurity for over a century. Until, remarkably, the political rise of Donald Trump sparked a sudden resurgence of interest. The books, Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey 1893 and The Last President 1896, may have been dismissed as odd relics of Victorian-era speculative fiction, but today they have captivated imaginations, with many asking, were they works of mere fantasy, or did they contain cryptic premonitions about the future of America? Lockwood's writing, though whimsical and far removed from the mainstream literature of his time, harbors a striking resonance with modern-day political and social concerns. In these novels, Lockwood conjures the tale of Barron Trump, a privileged young aristocrat with a thirst for adventure and exploration, a boy seemingly born into a world of wealth, opportunity, and extraordinary possibilities. Though the Barron is fictional, the parallels drawn between his world and the Trump dynasty of the present day have made many modern readers pause. At the heart of these stories is the character's search for truth, deeper meaning, and perhaps even a higher calling driven by a mysterious manuscript left by his wise mentor, a figure intriguingly named Dawn. As Barron embarks on a fantastical journey through hidden, underground realms, he encounters strange civilizations, bizarre creatures, and the darker corners of human nature. These underground worlds serve as metaphors for the uncharted depths of society, power, and wealth rich, with hidden knowledge and dangerous potential. And yet, despite the fantastical nature of these adventures, Lockwood's tale touches on themes that feel eerily relevant to modern readers. The exploration of unseen power structures, the manipulation of fate, and the pursuit of influence by elites operating beyond the common world. But it is not just the whimsy of Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey that has stirred so much fascination. Rather, it's the second book in Lockwood's collection, The Last President, that has captured the attention of conspiracy theorists, scholars, and curious minds alike. The Last President, published in 1896, carries a tone far more somber than its predecessor. This book shifts from fantasy to political satire, or, as some would argue, to a prophetic vision of a nation in turmoil. The story unfolds in the wake of a presidential election that shocks the nation, thrusting a polarizing outsider candidate into the highest office. The unexpected president's victory sends shockwaves through New York City, prompting riots, public unrest, and intense social division. The tension is palpable, with mobs taking to the streets, threatening to overthrow the system, and plunging the country into chaos. Sound familiar? For modern readers, the events in The Last President bear an unsettling resemblance to the political climate surrounding Donald Trump's own rise to power in 2016. Theme: the imagery of protesters marching down Fifth Avenue, the epicenter of Trump's own real estate empire, seems ripped from modern headlines. The novel's description of political chaos and disillusionment echoes the stark divisions in American society today, offering a startling mirror to our present political landscape. Beyond the dramatic election results, the novel delves into a future where America seems to stand on the brink of collapse. The title itself is provocative, The Last President, suggesting the end of an era, perhaps even the dissolution of the Republic. This has prompted many to speculate. Could Lockwood have somehow foreseen the unraveling of the United States long before it happened? Or was his work merely an astute satire of the political anxieties that echoed through America at the dawn of the 20th century? The most eyebrow-raising connection lies in the name of Lockwood's young protagonist, Barron Trump. To today's reader, it's impossible not to draw parallels to Barron Trump, Donald Trump's youngest son. The shared name, coupled with Barron's aristocratic background and mysterious journeys, has raised countless questions. Could this be more than coincidence? Could there be an eerie link between Lockwood's vision and the Trump family's ascent to power? Adding another layer of intrigue is the figure of Don, Barron's wise mentor. In the book, Don acts as Barron's guide, providing cryptic advice and a roadmap to navigating treacherous territories. Is this Don merely a literary device? Or could it be an allusion to Donald Trump himself, a figure leading his heir through uncharted political and social realms? The synchronicities don't end there. Barron Trump is depicted as a boy who embarks on great adventures, yet also symbolizes a sense of entitlement and privilege. He is no ordinary child. He is the scion of wealth, much like the real-world Trump dynasty, which has long operated within the upper echelons of American society. This mirroring of the past and present, fictional and real, has caused many to wonder if Lockwood's works were inspired by a future yet to unfold. Lockwood's The Last President portrays an America at a critical juncture on the precipice of radical transformation, or worse, disintegration. The novel's themes of civil unrest, deep divisions, and the collapse of democratic institutions strike an all-too-familiar chord in today's political climate. Could this be a warning? A literary allegory for telling the end of the American Republic as we know it? Some interpret The Last President not as a literal end, but as the symbolic close of an era. Trump, in this interpretation, represents the last president of the old order, the final leader, before a fundamental reshaping of American governance and power structures. Whether through populism, nationalism, or some other force, Trump's presidency could mark the beginning of a new political age. In a world hungry for meaning and patterns, it's no wonder that Lockwood's novels have struck such a chord. The mysterious, near-prescient elements of his stories offer a tantalizing puzzle one that taps into our collective fascination with time travel, hidden knowledge, and the possibility that the future has already been written in the past. Could Lockwood have somehow glimpsed into the 21st century, offering cryptic clues to the world of today? Or is the revival of his work simply a case of historical coincidence? In either case, the Barron Trump collection serves as a reminder that history and fiction often intertwine in ways we least expect. At the very least, these books provide a curious commentary on the nature of power, wealth, and the fate of nations, a tale of adventures, both fantastical and political, that resonates deeply in our current era. And as long as questions about the future remain, Lockwood's stories will continue to haunt and fascinate, leaving us to wonder, was this all part of the plan, or are we simply seeing what we want to see in the pages of a forgotten fantasy? The answers, it seems, are as elusive as the underground worlds that Baron Trump sought to uncover. But the questions they raise about fate, destiny, and the ever-repeating cycles of history are very much alive today. The 1896 novel, The Last President, opens with a scenario that feels disturbingly familiar. New York City is in chaos following the election of a polarizing outsider candidate to the highest office in the land. Protests erupt, mobs flood the streets, and the palpable fear of what the future holds ripples through the city. The parallels between this fictional tale and the real-world turmoil of Donald Trump's election in 2016 are both startling and thought-provoking. In Lockwood's novel, the political landscape is thrown into disarray after the surprise election of an unconventional leader. This leader, who rises to power on the back of populist promises and rejection of the status quo, shakes the foundations of the nation's political order. The shockwaves of his victory are immediate, felt most intensely in New York, a city that reacts with fear and anger. The novel vividly describes angry mobs taking to the streets in early November, right after the presidential election, with protesters marching down Fifth Avenue just blocks from what would, in reality, be Trump Tower. The imagery is chillingly close to the protests that erupted in 2016 when demonstrators flooded the streets of Manhattan, many chanting outside Trump's very residence. The fictional president in The Last President is portrayed as a figure of extreme division. In the novel, his rise to power ignites widespread social unrest and distrust in the political system. This outsider is seen as a symbol of disruption, not just to the government, but to the very fabric of American democracy. The country, much like in modern times, is split between those who fervently support the new president and those who fear he represents the unraveling of the nation. For contemporary readers, the eerie similarities between the novel's narrative and Trump's election extend beyond mere coincidence. Just as Trump's election was marked by deep polarization and an intense backlash from a large portion of the population, Lockwood's fictional world portrays a nation grappling with what it means to be led by someone outside the traditional political establishment. The divisions that marked the U.S. in 2016, from widespread protests to increasing political extremism, are echoed in The Last President, creating a parallel that feels almost prophetic. In the novel, the fear surrounding the outsider president's election is not limited to street protests. Lockwood depicts a national panic, with the wealthy elite of New York City fearing for their safety and assets. This resonates with real-world events following Trump's election, where uncertainty about the future gripped financial markets, political institutions, and even foreign governments. The novel hints at a broader collapse of order, as if this controversial president represents the end of the American Republic, as it was known, a sentiment echoed by those who viewed Trump's presidency as a turning point in U.S. history, in both the book and real life. The outsider president is seen as a threat to the established political system. While Trump was criticized for challenging long-held political norms and institutions, the fictional president in The Last President is also perceived as a destabilizing force. This imagined leader embodies a deep societal fear that one man's rise could unravel the very fabric of the nation. The parallels between the fictional plot and real events are impossible to ignore, leaving readers to wonder whether Lockwood's work was a mere fantasy or something more unsettlingly prescient. It's not difficult to see why Ingersoll Lockwood's Baron Trump collection has become a hotbed for conspiracy theories. The coincidences found within these 19th century novels are not only curious, but seem almost too specific to ignore. One of the most striking parallels lies in the name Baron Trump, the protagonist of the series, and the name of Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron. Given that Barron was a less common name during the time the books were written, it's understandable why this particular detail has caught the attention of many. Some claim this is more than mere coincidence, while skeptics attribute it to chance. Still, the connection feels uncanny. Even more bizarre is the presence of the character Don, who serves as Baron Trump's wise mentor and guide on his journeys. This has led many to speculate whether Don might be a veiled reference to Donald Trump himself. The notion that Lockwood's character, guiding young Barron through strange and uncharted territories, could be a foreshadowing of Donald Trump guiding his own son, or perhaps even the American people through a tumultuous period in history, adds an eerie layer to the mystery. Could this simply be the author's use of common names, or is it a sign of some hidden knowledge, suggesting the author knew far more than he let on? Yet, it's the title of Lockwood's 1896 novel, The Last President, that has become the most tantalizing part of this puzzle. The mere suggestion that Donald Trump could be America's final leader, marking the end of the Republic as we know it, is enough to send conspiracy theorists into overdrive. The novel's premise, a political outsider rising to power amidst a divided and chaotic nation, seems to mirror the contentious political climate of recent years. Trump's election stirred similar anxieties, with protests and civil unrest following his ascent to power. The title begs the question, could Trump's presidency be the beginning of the end for the American system of government? This idea has fueled speculation about whether Lockwood's books were more than just fiction. For those who believe in prophetic foresight, it's not hard to imagine that Lockwood may have tapped into some deeper knowledge or vision of the future. Some even go so far as to claim that the Trump family, through some kind of hidden knowledge or advanced technology such as time travel, may have been aware of these predictions and used them to their advantage. This theory, although extreme, continues to grow, especially given the astonishing nature of the parallels. While time travel is often dismissed as far-fetched, the eerie similarities between the Barron Trump collection and Donald Trump's life have opened the door for those willing to entertain the possibility of the fantastical. Even those who reject these theories are left with questions. How could so many seemingly random details align with the life of a man who would, over a century later, become one of the most polarizing figures in American history? Ultimately, these strange parallels invite us to reconsider the nature of coincidence. Are we merely searching for patterns where none exist? Or did Lockwood truly have access to something beyond his time? Whether these connections are the result of mere chance or something more mysterious, the Barron Trump collection has certainly cemented its place in modern discussions of prophecy, time travel, and political intrigue. In The Last President, written by Ingersoll Lockwood in 1896, the story unfolds with America on the verge of collapse. The country is torn apart by bitter divisions, political, social, and economic. The novel paints a grim portrait of a nation where long-standing institutions are failing, the economy is in freefall, and widespread protests have turned violent. The chaos that ensues following the election of an outsider president is both shocking and deeply unsettling. Lockwood's vision of America in turmoil resonates with readers today, as it eerily mirrors the political climate surrounding Donald Trump's presidency. At the heart of The Last President, we find a populace struggling to grapple with the rise of an unlikely leader. The outsider president is not portrayed in explicit detail, but his very presence disrupts the established political order. His election is not seen as a new beginning, but rather as the death knell for the nation's democratic foundation. The novel taps into the fears and anxieties of a country on the brink, where the old rules no longer apply and uncertainty reigns supreme. The political system in The Last President appears to be buckling under the weight of this presidency. The once reliable institutions of governance, the courts, the legislature, the media seem powerless to stop the onslaught of chaos. Protests break out in the streets, and mobs march on New York City, sparking violence and panic. Citizens, unsure of what to expect next, take to the streets in anger and fear, questioning whether their country can survive such unprecedented upheaval. What makes Lockwood's depiction so haunting is not just the election of this outsider president, but the suggestion that his rise marks the beginning of the end for the United States as it was once known. Many readers and conspiracy theorists have drawn parallels between the president in the novel and Donald Trump, believing that Trump's presidency is a harbinger of a dramatic shift, if not the outright collapse, of the American Republic. The novel's tone is one of inevitable decline, and Lockwood infuses every page with a palpable sense of doom. There is a creeping dread that this outsider president, while not malicious in intent, may be the instrument of America's undoing. His election signals not just political change, but the unraveling of the nation itself. This portrayal has left modern readers uneasy, especially given the polarization and uncertainty of recent years. However, it's not just the political parallels that make the last president so chilling. It's the sense that once the outsider rises to power, there is no going back. The country as it was is gone, and what remains is an uncertain and unstable future. Lockwood's novel does not offer hope for redemption or renewal. It offers a vision of a nation fractured beyond repair, where leadership only deepens the divides. In essence, The Last President is a meditation on the fragility of democracy and the dangers of a political system in disarray. Whether it's an uncanny prediction or merely a reflection of the cyclical nature of history, the novel's themes of political chaos and the erosion of democratic institutions feel as relevant today as they did over a century ago. The allure of conspiracy theories is as compelling as it is perplexing, drawing people into a web of speculation where history, fiction, and modern politics collide. When the peculiarities of the Barron Trump collection intertwine with contemporary events, the narrative morphs into a fertile ground for conspiracy theorists. The novels, with their strikingly uncanny coincidences related to Donald Trump's presidency, have led some to suggest that Trump or his family possesses a deeper understanding of these texts, possibly using them as a roadmap through time and political upheaval. The core of these theories often hinges on the belief that the Trump family has access to advanced technologies or esoteric knowledge that allows them to navigate through time itself. This hypothesis isn't merely a whimsical thought experiment. It's rooted in the rich tapestry of science fiction and the human fascination with the concept of time travel. In popular culture, time travel has often been depicted as a means of altering the past to influence the future. If the Trump family indeed possesses such abilities, one might speculate that they have strategically aligned their actions with the foreseen outcomes detailed in Lockwood's narratives. For proponents of this theory, the numerous predictions within the Barron Trump novels serve as compelling evidence. They point to the book's descriptions of a divided America, civil unrest, and a controversial outsider president, all of which resonate with the tumultuous political landscape experienced during Trump's time in office. Could it be that these narratives are not mere coincidences, but rather carefully orchestrated predictions that the Trump family anticipated and, in some cases, manipulated to their advantage? The idea is tantalizing, suggesting a grand narrative unfolding behind the scenes, where fiction and reality are interwoven in ways beyond our comprehension. Yet there are alternative interpretations. Some argue that Ingersoll Lockwood, the author of these novels, was simply a keen observer of societal trends. In the late 19th century, America was already grappling with political disillusionment and the emergence of populism, themes that would recur throughout the nation's history. Lockwood's writings could be seen as a reflection of the times, capturing the anxiety of a society on the brink of significant change. In this view, the predictive elements of the novels might not be rooted in supernatural foresight, but rather in the cyclical nature of history. The archetype of the outsider president is far from unique to Donald Trump. Throughout American history, various figures have emerged to challenge the status quo, resonating with the public's desire for change and upheaval. From Andrew Jackson to Barack Obama, the notion of a disruptive leader is a recurring theme, suggesting that Lockwood was not so much predicting a singular future as he was tapping into an age-old narrative of American politics. What adds an extra layer of intrigue to this discourse is the interplay of names, events, and political chaos within the novels. The similarity of Barron Trump to Barron Trump, coupled with the chaotic scenarios Lockwood paints, creates an eerie atmosphere that sparks the imagination. This uncanny resemblance fosters a belief that there is a hidden knowledge at play, beckoning those who encounter it to dig deeper and uncover the mysteries that might lie beneath the surface. In conclusion, The convergence of conspiracy theories, time travel, and hidden knowledge surrounding the Barron Trump collection creates a captivating narrative that resonates with the human fascination for the unknown. Whether viewed as prophetic literature or mere coincidence, the novels serve as a lens through which we can explore our current socio-political landscape, revealing the enduring power of storytelling and its capacity to reflect and shape our understanding of history and time. The notion that Donald Trump could be the last president of the United States is a concept that provokes deep reflection and, at times, fear. For many, this idea transcends mere political commentary. It embodies the anxiety surrounding the future of American democracy itself. In the wake of his presidency, the political landscape has undergone seismic shifts, leading some to speculate that the very essence of the republic is at stake. At the heart of this discussion is the impact Trump has had on American politics. His tenure has been characterized by a radical departure from established norms and protocols. The traditional roles of the presidency of diplomacy, of civility, of bipartisan cooperation have been challenged, if not outright dismantled. The stark polarization that emerged during his administration has left many citizens questioning the viability of democratic institutions. For some, the fear is not just that Trump might be the last in a line of traditional presidents, but that his presidency signifies the end of democracy as we know it. Supporters of this theory argue that Trump represents the culmination of a long trend toward populism, a movement that elevates the voice of the common man while disregarding established political hierarchies. This phenomenon is not limited to the United States. It echoes globally as we see leaders rise who prioritize charisma and direct appeal over the complexities of policy. As such, Trump's presidency might be seen as the last gasp of an era that revered institutional governance in favor of a more tumultuous, personality-driven political arena. In the wake of Trump's administration, a new political dynamic is emerging, one characterized by radical change and uncertainty. For some, this indicates that he is the last president of an old order, where the traditional checks and balances of government held sway. The implications of this shift are vast. If Trump is indeed the last president of a stable democratic system, what follows could be an era where political fragmentation becomes the norm, marked by the rise of new ideologies and potentially authoritarian figures who exploit the disillusionment with traditional governance. However, viewing Trump as the last president also evokes a sense of urgency. The prospect of upheaval, be it through political strife, social discord, or economic instability, raises the question: what kind of leadership will follow? If conventional political norms collapse, will there be a vacuum left in their wake? Critics of this view emphasize that democracy is resilient, and while it may be challenged, it is not doomed. They argue that Trump's presidency could be a catalyst for a renewed political awakening, inspiring new leaders to emerge and reclaim the principles of democracy that seem to be eroding. This duality between hope and despair, between order and chaos, lies at the core of the conversation about Trump as potentially the last president. As the American public grapples with these possibilities, it reflects a broader struggle with identity, governance, and the future. The question, then, is not simply whether Trump is the last president in a literal sense, but whether he symbolizes a turning point in the American political narrative, one that could irrevocably decline. Ultimately, the fate of the republic rests not just on one individual, but on the collective will of its citizens. As they navigate this turbulent political landscape, the answer to whether Trump could truly be the last president will unfold, shaped by the choices made in the years to come. As we delve into the curious case of the Barron Trump collection, the question of whether its eerie parallels to contemporary politics are mere coincidences or something more profound takes center stage. While the novels penned by Ingersoll Lockwood in the late 19th century are undoubtedly works of fiction crafted as whimsical tales meant to entertain, they have inexplicably sparked discussions about prophetic insights. This tension between fact and fiction prompts us to consider how narratives from the past can mirror the complexities of our present and future. Lockwood's Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey and The Last President were conceived during a time when America was grappling with profound social and political changes. The late 1800s saw the aftermath of the Civil War, the rise of industrialization, and burgeoning debates over immigration and governance. In this context, Lockwood's stories served as both escapism and commentary, using the fantastical adventures of a young aristocrat to address the anxieties of his time. Yet, as history teaches us, literature often serves as a mirror reflecting the collective consciousness of society. The themes of political unrest, societal upheaval, and the emergence of populist leaders are not confined to the pages of Lockwood's novels. They have recurred throughout history, echoing the fears and hopes of different eras. From the dystopian narratives of George Orwell to the cautionary tales of Margaret Atwood, fiction frequently anticipates or responds to the socio-political landscape. The uncanny coincidences found within the Barron Trump collection, the name Barron, the chaotic protests in New York. The controversial outsider president may not be predictions in the traditional sense, but they evoke a sense of déjà vu. The parallels resonate so strongly because they tap into ongoing societal fears about democracy, governance, and identity. As we witness a world where political polarization reaches new heights, these fictional accounts prompt us to reflect on the cycles of history. It's also essential to consider the role of narratives in shaping our understanding of reality. The stories we tell ourselves, whether in literature, media, or popular culture, can influence our perceptions of the world around us. When readers encounter the tumultuous events in Lockwood's tales, they may draw connections to their own lives, believing that the narrative serves as a cautionary tale or an insightful commentary on contemporary politics. This process of storytelling allows fiction to transcend time and resonate with different generations. Moreover, the fascination with Lockwood's work highlights a broader trend in society, the desire for meaning in a chaotic world. As people grapple with uncertainties from economic instability to social discord, turning to tales that offer glimpses of both hope and despair becomes a natural instinct. The Barron Trump collection provides a canvas for interpreting fears of the present while engaging with historical allegories in essence. While Lockwood's novels were not intended as prophetic texts, their exploration of themes like upheaval and uncertainty provides valuable insight into the human experience. They remind us that while the specifics of our struggles may evolve, the core anxieties about leadership, power, and the direction of our society remain constant. Whether viewed through the lens of prophecy or literary satire, the narratives of the past continue to shape our understanding of the present and illuminate the path forward, urging us to examine not just what has been, but also what might be. In the cyclical dance of history, fiction serves as both a guide and a caution, prompting us to engage with our world more thoughtfully. The resurgence of interest in the Barron Trump collection has ignited a wildfire of online discourse, drawing in both skeptics and believers alike. Social media platforms are awash with memes, videos, and posts that explore the uncanny connections between Ingersoll Lockwood's late 19th century novels. The concept that a book written over a century ago could seem to predict the chaotic tapestry of modern American politics resonates with many, prompting deep dives into the text and fervent discussions about its implications. This phenomenon underscores a broader cultural yearning for meaning amidst a backdrop of turmoil. In an age marked by rapid change, social unrest, and unprecedented political division, people are eager to find narratives that help them make sense of their reality. The Barron Trump collection taps into this desire, offering a seemingly prophetic lens through which to view the complexities of our times. Each parallel drawn between the book's plot lines and present-day events not only fuels intrigue, but also allows individuals to connect their lived experiences to the pages of history, creating a tapestry where fiction and reality intertwine. Social media has become a fertile ground for this exploration, with countless creators producing content that dissects the novel's themes, character arcs, and their eerie reflections on modern politics. From animated summaries to in-depth analyses, the videos capture the imagination of viewers, often blending humor with serious commentary on the implications of Lockwood's writings. The idea that Barron Trump, an adventurous aristocrat navigating through fantastical underground worlds, might echo the tumultuous journey of a real-life Trump presidency, lends an almost mythic quality to the narrative. Moreover, the fascination with these novels isn't merely a byproduct of curiosity. It reflects a collective urge to seek answers and clarity in uncertain times. As the political landscape continues to evolve, individuals are naturally inclined to seek connections and patterns that could illuminate their understanding of what lies ahead. In this quest, Lockwood's books serve as a compelling metaphor for the unpredictability of the future, making them both timeless and timely. Ultimately, whether one views the Barron Trump collection as mere fiction or as prophetic allegory, its resurgence has undeniably sparked a cultural conversation. This dialogue reveals a deep-seated human desire to make sense of chaos, find patterns in unpredictability, and perhaps even glimpse into a future that remains shrouded in mystery. As long as uncertainty looms, the fascination with these strange, yet oddly relevant tales will persist, inviting us to ponder the delicate interplay between art and reality. As we unravel the intricate threads woven into the fabric of the Barron Trump collection, we are left grappling with a profound question. Are the uncanny parallels between the narratives crafted by Ingersoll Lockwood merely coincidental? Or did he possess a unique foresight into a future that now seems uncomfortably close? The novels, originally published in the late 19th century, serve not only as whimsical tales of adventure, but also as striking commentaries on societal anxieties that resonate with our current political climate. Each page evokes a sense of déjà vu, as if Lockwood was a literary oracle predicting the tumultuous times we now inhabit. In The Last President, Lockwood paints a vivid picture of unrest and upheaval in a society facing an election that disrupts the status quo, an allegory that echoes the chaotic aftermath of Donald Trump's ascent to power. With each uncanny detail, from the naming of characters to the themes of division and upheaval, we cannot help but question the nature of these connections. Are they merely a product of coincidence, or do they reflect an underlying truth about the cyclical nature of history? While some might dismiss these correlations as mere whims of fate, the deep-seated fascination with Lockwood's work speaks to a collective yearning for understanding in an age fraught with uncertainty. As we grapple with questions about the future of democracy, the essence of leadership, and the role of the individual in shaping history, these novels offer a lens through which we can examine our own societal narrative. Whether Donald Trump is indeed destined to be labeled the last president of a republic that once thrived on democratic ideals, they prompt us to reflect on the fragility of our political structures and the possibility of transformation, reminding us that history is often a recurring play of themes and archetypes. As we stand at the crossroads of an uncertain future, the boundary between fiction and reality may indeed continue to blur, inviting us to delve deeper into our own stories. Are we merely characters in a narrative scripted long ago? Or do we possess the power to rewrite our destinies? The allure of the Barron Trump collection lies not just in its predictions, but in its invitation to engage in a dialogue about our place in the unfolding tapestry of time. If you enjoyed this video and found it intriguing, please give it a thumbs up. Your support helps us create more exciting content. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family who might be interested in these fascinating connections between history and modern politics. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got plenty more thought-provoking videos coming your way. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate your support.